idle for probably the next 5 or so minutes. Currently unloading sand here at the rail yard. As you can see, with the snow plows up there, we got a bunch of snow out here in Buffalo, New York. I get to drive through all of this at 108,000 pounds, which is all sorts of fun. We got 2 people watching. Roll up this window, maybe make it a little less loud. I don't know if my mic is picking up off of my headset or off of the mic on the phone, but I'm just doing a bit of a test, see who tunes in. In a couple minutes here, I'll have to start driving once they finish unloading me here at the rail yard. But I figure it'll be fun for people watching once I get back onto the highway, as it's plenty snowed in, iced up. Assault trucks are scrambling to try to get on top of it here, but 108,000 pounds with this semi-truck, 22 wheels. It'll at least be some interesting driving. Feel free to type in the chat so I can make sure that's working here. Type anything. So we got 7 people here. Somebody go ahead and type something in the chat. There we go. Well, hello, Corey. Long time no see. I gotta figure out, let's see, I don't want to start a poll. Does it let me type? How do I type? Actually not sure if it'll let me type anything while I'm live streaming. That's kind of crazy. I can read Corey's message. All I see on my end is I can change it to top chat, live chat, or none. Plus sign only lets me start a poll. Let's see what happens when I do that. Start a poll. Will Cody crash his 108,000 pound semi in the snow today? There you can at least see me for a little while. I know I am way more excited to look at than probably the same scene of nothingness. I am currently still waiting for them to finish unloading me, which should be any minute now. That light is actually really hot, so you guys can see me in the dark for a couple minutes. I like this new layout that lets you live stream this way, as I don't see an option for me to type anything, but other people can type. Well, hello, treasure hunting legend. I am at work today. I work 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. driving semi-trucks in Buffalo, New York. Looks like I'm the first truck that made it out here because I started the shift with a preload, which means the night shift filled my truck already up with sand. Means I only have to leave from our main mechanic parking lot, drive from there directly to where we unload. So we're out here at a rail yard filling up all the rail cars with sand that leaves from Buffalo, New York, heads down to kind of like north central Pennsylvania. I believe everything on this train is just used for the natural gas fracking sites. Oh, and I got 2 votes on Infall Crash. Does it let me see them? How did everybody vote no? Don't we want an exciting... Oh, we'll see who else votes. I will do what anybody votes for. I'll either not crash, or I will crash. I used to do long haul, at least our version of it, where we would drive what they had called sand boxes. We would load them up at the same plant here in Buffalo and then haul them all the way down, loaded to the same frac sites. We would actually drive onto the natural gas drilling sites, which were in the middle of nowhere. And we would deliver those sand boxes. A giant forklift would come and take the full one off of our trailer. Those are much like shipping container trailers, except ours were cubes instead of those long rectangles. They would, the forklift would unload our full box and then give us an empty to take back to Buffalo. But as of now, I just show up to my job site in Buffalo, grab a truck, whether it's loaded or unloaded. We only have to drive about 8 miles, deliver this to the rail yard. They offload us with a conveyor belt that takes the sand from the bottom of our trailers, and it will offload it into the top of the trains. Let me see if I take you guys off of this. If I got enough stretch with my cable, you can see. See, that is actually called the Wilson. It's kind of a 4-wheel drive buggy system. And it is offloading the sand. You see it falling into the top of the train. But that buggy goes underneath my semi-trailer, right about in the center of it. It's got a chute at the bottom. So the sand from my trailer falls onto that conveyor belt. They got to move it in place. Because on the top of those trains, there's about, depending on which type of boxcar, 3 to 5 chutes at the top that they have to open. But each one of these rail cars will fit about 3 trucks worth of sand into them. and then they do the same thing. You see the two chutes at the bottom of the rail car. Once this train gets to where it's going, they'll do the same thing with that Wilson type machine, except it will be offloading from the train into the little sandboxes that do the local runs down there. So basically we truck it from the plant, put it on the train takes it down to the trucks down in Pennsylvania. They'll fill those little trucks to run local out there. That'll run from the rail yard to the offload site, which is the frac pad, natural gas drilling sites. So Corey says, I better not crash. But remember, she's only one vote. And depending on the other drivers out here, it might not be up to me if I crash or not. A couple of these on and off ramps are icy and slick because we got 27 degrees right now. So we're below freezing and it's slick out there. As soon as they, I guess, finish offloading me, I'll switch it back to the front view so you guys can follow along on my adventure. It's obviously not a super fast, exciting drive as when you're 108,000 pounds in trucks designed for 80,000 max. I can basically get up to about 55 miles an hour on the 190 expressway before it's time to start slowing down to get off. And when I'm loaded leaving the plant, we are going uphill. So I'm doing about between 14 and 23 miles an hour, depending on the truck, which probably really upsets everybody behind me. But also for the time being, I cannot metal detect when I'm at work or when the ground is frozen or snowy like this. So I figure I might as well gain some watch hours and chat with some of you guys about metal detecting or trucking or whatever you want to talk about. We got 3 votes on my poll. Let's see if I click it. All right, we got a yes. 1 vote for yes, I crashed. 2 votes for no. So it is a tight race. Now, how do I minimize my... There we go. Any minute now, we will be offloading. I can start moving. Which company owned the sand? Oh, Halliburton. Yeah, we deal with them a lot. A lot of our sandboxes for Halliburton. We get our sand from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, but I work for CSI, which is Canadian Silicon Industries. They're basically the Halliburton of Canada. But we get freshwater sand shipped to us on an actual giant ship. That comes up the Buffalo River and will offload with its own type of, it's like a giant crane conveyor belt. And as you see, as we get back to the plant, they'll fill giant sand dunes of this freshwater sand. I guess in this industry, for the sand that they pump 2 miles into the earth for drilling natural gas wells, that we deliver to foundries. Those will be different type of trucks, metal foundries. But we kind of have a bit of a monopoly on freshwater sand coming from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So we ship kind of all over the place, but our main, I guess, bread and butter would be this haul from Buffalo to north central Pennsylvania. did you do out there in Caliber? Not a lot, but I do see more snow flurries starting to fall, so we're expecting another something like, I think, 4 to 6 inches today. And I can see in the mirror they're closing me up, so I'm just waiting for them to lower the Wilson down to the ground. Once he gives me the thumbs up, I can drag my trailer over that and head on out of here. Alright, he slapped the side to make sure it's empty, gave me the thumbs up. I can slowly pull off of here. So I will flip the camera. Alright, fracking crew, so you're real familiar with what I do. I used to deliver it directly to the frac sites where all the ground workers guide you in so the giant forklift can unload you and give you an empty. But now we're just delivering to this local rail yard about 8 miles away. I prefer this because many a time when I was delivering to the frac sites, the fastest round trip from Buffalo to PA back to Buffalo, I could complete that in just under 7 hours. You had a total of 12 hours to get that single run done. But there were many times where I would drive there, get to the site, they have some kind of problem on site with any of the machinery or changing well heads or whatever they're doing. But you basically just have to sit and wait in a staging lot. And there were days where my expected 12-hour return, I'd be down there for like 23 hours. Middle of nowhere, in a 2-seat, what they call a day cab truck. So very uncomfortable. But with this, if they break down, you know, I'm only about 25 minutes from home. Local driving's a lot better for me because once my shift is over, I clock out, I'm done. I can forget about work until the next shift. And I got my center differential locked right now because even though it's not muddy, it's still icy and slick back here, and if you lose momentum, chances are you're going to get stuck. Oh yeah, 50 degrees sometime this week, I wouldn't be surprised. The only downside for that with metal detecting is all of this frozen ground with whatever snow makes to the ground and sticks. That turns all of our ground we like to dig in into swamps. Even if it looks dry on the top, as soon as you put a shovel in the ground, about 2 to 3 to 4 inches down, it's standing water, as if you just filled the hole up. And that's not fun to dig because it's basically like sticky clay mud. So even if it was dry tomorrow and all this melted, that probably means no detecting for about a week until the ground dries up and all the water table goes down. There was nothing visible. Preload.
All right, okay.
Sure. Good morning. That was one of the ground workers asking me for the paperwork, because normally we have to give them a sheet, a copy of our load, trip sheet, whatever you want to call it. But because this was a preload, meaning it was already full when I got here from the last shift's driver, he did not give me any paperwork to hand to that guy. I don't know why they care, because they can just look in the computer and see what load got delivered or whatever they're keeping track of. But that is one thing about this job. It changes pretty much every 2 to 3 days. Sorry if the camera's wiggling, but this is Pothole City getting out of here. I just have my phone mounted to the window right now, so at least until I get to the pavement, it might be a bit wiggly. On my end, it's so wiggly I can't read any of that live chat right now. Here I'm about to go on the pavement, so I shut off my locking differentials. I don't think any of this road heading back to the rail yard has actually been plowed, so it's iced up, and you can tell when you go to stop or take off. Go, because I need this entire intersection to turn. Today I have one of the diesel trucks, which I prefer. We also have natural gas powered trucks, which are newer. I think this one's about a 3-year-old Peterbilt, but I'm pulling a triple axle trailer, meaning I have 22 tires on the ground. When I'm empty, I'm about 35,000 pounds between my tractor and my unloaded trailer. When I'm full, we're between 107 and 108,000 pounds. So we're considered heavy haul truckers. Just tuning in, I don't know if you guys are hearing the sound just inside my cab coming from my phone, or if you guys can hear my I have a trucker Bluetooth headset with the mic attached. I am currently at a red light, as you can see. I'm on my way back to our sand plant. From here, I have to drive through, I guess this would be a neighborhood, sort of busy roads once, you know, it's not 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or whatever time it is. They'll get much more busy during the day, but I drive through this neighborhood to get to the expressway. I have to drive over a skyway, which likes to freeze up. And being overweight, it can make driving a little exciting. I got a bunch of other drivers, at least 5 or 6 of us here today. Guys that don't know how to drive their semi-trucks off-road. So there should be a lot of trucks getting stuck, having to wait to pull people out, which often means me having to put a chain on my truck and drag their truck out of the holes they get stuck in. But it's fun for everybody. green light here in a second. Center it the best I can with my phone mounted on the suction cup mount on the windshield. You guys are seeing the same view I'm seeing as I drive this giant semi-truck back to the downtown Buffalo. It's only an 8-mile trip. I think I timed it for something like 16 or 17 minutes from the rail yard that we left to the plant. The wind is crazy, which should also add to the fun of driving on the Skyway, because we're right there at the lake shore, Lake Erie, downtown Buffalo. And you're high up in the air, so you don't have the buildings to, I guess, dissipate or block the wind. So when you're running empty, and you basically have this giant sail of an empty trailer behind you to catch the wind, it's trying to push you off of the Skyway. So there's a chance you guys can see if the tornado force winds knock my semi-truck off of the elevated Skyway into the Buffalo River below. Turning onto another road that has not been touched by a plow. All the dark you see is just from people's tires kind of driving through the snow, making it slush and muck. Tractor wiggling back and forth a little bit as it loses traction on my drive tires. And it'll be tiny on screen, but I'm coming up in typical Buffalo, New York fashion. You have people who just wander aimlessly, walking directly in front of my truck. That could have been exciting. Obviously, a job like this, I have to wear a lot of high-vis, bright orange, neon yellow stuff, because it's a mining operation, just like construction. You got to wear high visibility clothes, and it's hard enough for us starting the day. We start our shift in the dark. I get here about 5:30 in the morning, and some of the guys we work with, even though you're supposed to all be in high vis clothes, like to wear dark stuff, making them practically invisible. But pedestrians always out here are wearing the darkest matte black clothes they can possibly wear. So you always got to keep your eyes open. People don't understand that giant semi-trucks, much like trains, cannot stop on a dime. So you get people try to walk behind your truck as you're backing up, step in front of you, like that lady almost did, as you're driving down the road at 30 miles an hour. So here we are, the on-ramp onto the 190 to downtown Buffalo. Looks like the plows have got to this, so we got a good layer of that brine and salt mix. I could probably get up to about 50 miles an hour. But the wind, if you can hear it at all, is pretty ferocious. Sounds much like the tornado in Wizard of Oz out there right now. Temperature monitor on my semi-truck's dashboard. Supposed to be more snow inbound, but the wind will pick up the closer I get to where I'm headed. By the count meter at the top of my phone. I see one person, which I assume would be Corey, still watching me. Watching live, obviously we have the live chat. Feel free to ask any questions, whether it's about trucking, metal detecting, or anything. You guys can hear me talking, hopefully. I can only I guess interact with you guys when you type in the chat. You can see the buildings getting bigger, which means I am entering downtown Buffalo, New York. My exit is the one coming up. Church Street, number 7. The live stream might glitch out just for a couple seconds. as I get within about a block from my loading plant. It's a tiny bit of a dead spot out there because of the sand dunes that we have at the plant, actually. This exit I have to go down from 55 miles an hour down to about 7 to make this turn with my giant truck. Have to make the widest right turn so my trailer clears that intersection. And now we are going up onto the Skyway. I feel almost like a tour guide now. And if you look to the left, you will see Buffalo's Keeping Center. That's where our ice hockey team plays. I've lived here 3 years. Haven't gone to see any of the games yet, but hopefully that changes. We are now going over the Buffalo River. You'll start to see a lot more silos. Also to the left, we have the giant silos for the Gold Medal flour and General Mills, where they make Cheerios. If you can see the brake wall off to the right, all the waves are crashing over that right now because the wind is very high. It's actually pretty churny coming in through the normally calm part of the river here too, so probably some flooding out here for people. Now approaching my exit, Outer Park Drive, which is where I get to the plant. I let my engine brake handle slowing down the truck, whether I'm loaded or unloaded. A wide left here into the underpass, and then I have to park up here on the right. Here is where I have to stop the truck right outside of the gate and actually open up my tarp. What I can do, even though nobody is watching, I can bring my phone out and hook up. Let me set it down out there so you guys can see that I'm live and doing something. I set it right there. I believe you guys can see. Should be able to see me. I don't know if you'll be able to hear me as I go away because that's the sound from my mic. That way. But my trailer tarp is open. So, let me take this phone. There you can see our sand dunes. They don't look very tall probably on the phone, but they're, I'd say about 5 times as tall as their trucks right now. We get in here. Taking a minute to get situated. Put you guys back on my phone mount so I can take my gloves off. Let's start the day with gloves. Differential lock on again, connect my charger. So now what I have to do is slowly pull into the plant. I see one truck sitting in the middle of the lane, which is goofy because he should be off to the side. His tarp in here, which he should be doing outside of the plant. We are a mining operation, and of course all the signs and the mining regulations tell you, no truckers outside of the trucks. But people like to get lazy and just put their tarps back up there, and as I see his tarp actually blowing off the side because he's a dummy. Looks like he was able to pull it back. backing onto the scales because we only got about 6 inches either side of our trucks. And you got to back at an angle to get down here. And I have to back up until I hear the plant tell me to stop. And of course they didn't, because I can see my chute's actually too far forward. So I will manually stop it. Set my air brakes. Roll my window back up. And here we are back at the plant. Watching currently, and that is fine because that gives me time to check some stuff on my tablet. Oh, we do have somebody watching. Right now, I am parked on the scale getting loaded at the plant in Buffalo. Somebody's channel on my tablet for metal detecting. Let's see, what kind of playlist do you have? 31 videos. That sounds good. I can do a play all. Even though nobody's watching, turn me around. I found a playlist for, what's this? Hidden Suffolk, whatever you pronounce that as. Metal detecting. I can do play all on that. Give him some watch hours. Because my tablet will just sit on the seat and play all day during my 12-hour shift. Feel free to type any questions or comments or anything in the live chat. I'll just be sitting here for the next couple of minutes getting loaded. Make sure I'm zoomed out all the way. Looks like at least one person watching. Those are sand dunes because that's what I deliver here. We're a sand process plant. All of the sand dunes, it's actually sand that we get sent by ship from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So the sand dunes are raw sand. Here at the plant, we take that raw sand with the loaders. We dry it, sift it, sort it, all that type of stuff. So it goes from that dark, raw sand and turns into this kind of like white, sugary, dry sand. And that's what we deliver to the rail yards to put inside of the trains. just tuned in, I wish this setup would actually tell me who was watching rather than just the little like number 1 next to the silhouette. But I'll keep you turned around this way so people know that I am live, I am here. It just takes a couple of minutes for them to load my trailer up with sand. Here at the plant, we don't have to do anything manually. I just back my truck onto these scales. There's plant workers who are supposed to sound a siren once you've backed up to the spot they want you to load at. They will hit a little siren, chirp the siren, I believe it's 3 times to have me move forward. I probably move up about 2 feet each time. They'll hit the siren once they want me to stop. But once I'm completely loaded, there's going to be a guy coming out of the scale house. He's going to give me 2 copies. 1 copy is the one I keep. It's just my load sheet, bill of lading. The other copy I take and deliver to the people at the rail yard. But I'm going to haul, it's about 70,000 pounds of sand. So my total weight will be, I think we max out at 108,000 pounds with this setup in each truck. There is our first siren chirp. So I release the brakes, and as soon as my truck tells me I'm in gear, I inch up until I hear, there it is, the next siren. Set my air brakes again. So of course with this job, there's a lot of downtime. Even if you're running fast loads where you're doing like a max of about 6 or 7 loads delivered per day, per shift, you're sitting for 10 to 15 minutes while they load you. Then we got to get to the plant or to the rail yard to offload, and if there's a few trucks in front of you, you got to wait for them to offload. Each one of the trucks is at least 10 to 15 minutes to offload, meaning you sit in line, multiply that by how many trucks are sitting in front of you. You could be sitting for an hour at the rail yard or an hour at the plant, whether you're loading or unloading. So because I have a lot of that downtime, what I like to do is take my tablet and watch other people's metal detecting channels. Right now I'm watching Hidden Suffolk Detecting, running his playlist all the way through. It's about 31 videos, I believe. But I let that run, let people get watch time straight through, which improves their retention rate, the video watch through totals, and gives them watch hours on their channel. So hopefully I get people doing the same for me. Go ahead and turn around my camera. Make sure we're zoomed out all the way. There's the next siren, meaning I got to inch up again. Of course, semi-trucks are not a very fast operation. This truck, once it's got a shifter kind of like an automatic arm, you shift from neutral to drive. But it likes to slip, and even though you switched it to drive gear, I have a little layout on my dashboard that tells me whether I'm actually in neutral or in drive. And even though you switch to drive, you're still stuck in neutral, so sometimes you got to repeat that process a couple times. You might be able to see the loader off to the right, heading for that sand dune. You'll see him go out there. He's going to take a scoop. They bring that back to the plant, so that raw sand runs through a bunch of conveyor belts, different hoppers. It heats up to something around like 735 degrees. So very hot, but that dries out the sand, sorts it out, takes all the rocks out. Because all you want to deliver is processed, like sugar grain sand when you're done. So I'm just waiting on the scale. I do see in my passenger side mirror the guy coming out here. Walking as slow as possible, but it looks like he does have my load sheets. Fun game of sort of leapfrog here at the plant as the guy backing up is going onto the scale where I was at. So you got to do this sort of snake maneuver. And what I'm going to do is pull out here towards the right side of our entrance. And I have to close my tarp back up. I'm just going to run out there and close my tarp. You guys can hear my sound coming from my trucker mic. You'll be able to hear me talking. If not, I will be back in about 1 minute. in the truck after closing my tarp. So this part of the journey starts my trip loaded 108,000 pounds, heading to the rail yard about 8 miles away. I could attain going up that hill. Get up to 37, and then I have to start slowing down for this turn as it's a bit icy. And when you have 108,000 pounds behind you, that's kind of pushing you into the turn, and I don't feel like crashing into that concrete wall. So I'm taking this turn at 19 miles an hour. Out there is still roaring. It's like 50 mile an hour plus winds, which aren't as bad when you're at least loaded because you have all that weight to stabilize you. When you're unloaded, you're out here with a sail behind you. It's a bit unnerving. course, everybody passes me, but there's no race, and I get paid by the hour. So I just drive at a comfortable pace here in the rightmost lane. The speed limit here is 55. But I'm lucky to ever even get up to that speed. Right now I'm doing 50. It's only about a 4.5 mile stretch on the 190 that I take until I get to my exit number 1. Joined the stream. Feel free to type any questions or comments in the chat. Right now I'm driving my 108,000 pound truck towards the rail yard to offload. And my engine brake, we get down to 25. And we'll take the rest of this turn at about 20 miles an hour. See the plow trucks out there, they're doing their job, dropping the salt and the brine and slurry. Roads clear of the slush and ice. This one's actually a stop sign, so we come to a complete stop, make sure nobody's coming from the left side. And now I gotta get 108,000 pounds from a dead stop uphill. 13 miles an hour. And I see it's a red light, so of course, even though I get up to 20, now I gotta start slowing down again. Make a stop at this red light, because I'm really making a great turn up here. We are a triple axle trailer, 108,000 pounds. So I have to take really wide turns, but we got nobody coming from the left, so I can proceed the wide right. And as you can see, after the red light I'm going to stop at, the plows have not touched the road in front of me. So that all becomes slush and ice and snow. Got about 2 miles left of this trip until I get to the rail yard, so you'll be able to see where we offload about 70,000 pounds of sand per trip from our big hopper trucks. We got conveyor belt systems called Wilson's. I guess that's the manufacturer. They'll be able to offload from our trailers onto the conveyor belt system that'll take them up to the top of the rail cars, and then a train will haul all of the sand down to Pennsylvania. Alright, so now we are into this slush, and I can feel the tires residential neighborhood, so it's probably only a 30 mile an hour regular speed. I'm going at 25. And it's not me that I'm worried about because I grew up in Chicago. I drive this kind of stuff all day long. The other drivers, people don't know how to stop early or something, so you always got to watch out for. I start slowing down already, which is a good block. You can hear the truck decelerating on its own using the engine brake. And if you slow enough at a good pace, then you can stop this 108,000 pounds exactly where you want it to. But now you got to get back up to speed, making this really wide left turn. Oh, I can feel the tractor sliding as the trailer tries to push it. This road is plowed, as you can see, but it's still slippery out here. With 108,000 pounds and coming from a dead stop here at the red light, if we can catch it, you can only get up to about 17 miles an hour max speed going up the hill. But that's fine because right after the hill we got to slow down to make another right. We got the green light, so it wasn't a dead stop. Starting this at 14 miles an hour. Let's see what we can get up to. We're up to 20. 25. 29. That might be the max speed until we get to the top of the hill. Also, because we're going downhill, I got to start letting the truck slow itself down. That green light up there is where we're going to be making a right. Start using my foot brake. But that's fine because we're completely stopped. No one is to the right, so I can make this nice wide right turn. And of course it's all slush here, so I feel the truck pushing me. 10 miles an hour into that turn, we can regain control. this section has not been touched by a snowplow, as it's considered a side street. Before we drive down this about 2 blocks to the very end, we're going to be making a right. BIM guy in the chat. Thanks for joining us, if that's still you in here. And we got somebody to the right, but he's just going straight across, so we'll let him pass. This is a very tight and slippery turn, so I have to take this very slow and very wide so I don't end up in the ditch to the left. Just about bringing my steer tires towards the very edge of the pavement to clear that turn. And up here is the entrance to our rail yard. All of this is off-road from this point. So I put on my locking differential, make my wide left turn, it might be a bit bumpy, as I don't know if you guys can see, but this is very washboarded from our heavy trucks going over this dirt road. So the phone mounted to my suction cup mount on the windshield is going to wiggle around a bit until I get to a stop here. You can see I'm approaching the end of the train. These first, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cars are basically broken. They're needing to be serviced. You can see the lightest colored one, second to last, that I'm approaching, has a bunch of the sand dumped out of it because the chutes on the bottom, sometimes they're damaged and they won't close all the way, so you'll develop a very slow leak. And essentially all that sand has stopped. I'll actually take my phone off the mount so you can see. Looks like we got 2 people watching. But they come out of those chutes, and that one is faulty. So the sand leaks out until it's basically stopped. They can't leak out any more than that. If the sand on the ground that's piled up wasn't there, obviously it would just keep leaking until no more could come out. But right now that's a full, and that's 230,000 pounds of sand, a completely loaded train that they're going to have to clean out. But these trains from this last rusty one on forward are all connected together. We are loading them, as you can see, with that Wilson conveyor system. So what I'm going to do is slowly inch my semi-truck up towards pretty much the identical truck. He is being unloaded right now. And I will stop about 20 feet behind him. Shift into neutral and set my yellow parking brake. Now I can put you guys back on my dash mount. can also see the worker there with the orange vest. He's giving the hand signals to the driver, telling him he's got to just pull forward. I don't know what that hand signal is of go forward, pull back. It's kind of silly. But I think what he's telling that guy is they're going to move the Wilson. I can actually take it off so you guys can see a better angle. These vehicles are the workers' vehicles. You got a guy up there on the top of the train. He's the one that guides, tells them when to stop. So he's closing the chute. Looks like they're moving to the next car. He's got to do a little hop over that empty space. But they operate the Wilson with a bunch of hydraulic levers. It's four-wheel drive, meaning each one of those tires is driven, powered by hydraulics, and each tire is steerable. So he's got to line up that chute on the top of the train. That guy gives him the, I believe that was the thumbs up. So now the guy in the orange will place the conveyor system back on the ground, and he's going to give the hand signal to the truck in front of me to back the trailer back over that. And if I can zoom in, too much. You only got about 6 inches. So you got to be very careful. You don't want to run into the Wilson. There's the stop. Now he will lift it back up about 6 inches off the ground. Open the chute back up. And there you see the sand coming out. Essentially, that's a giant conveyor system. So it offloads from the truck, which is a giant hopper style truck, like a dump truck. It goes out the bottom of the trailer, up that conveyor system, and then into the top of the train. Each one of those train cars can hold, there's a little bit difference depending on the manufacturer, but like the one to the left of me says load limit 234,000 pounds. But we average 3 of these full trucks per every rail car to fill them up, and we just move down the line as we go. Who pays for it when it disappears during shipping? I believe you're talking about the sand that leaked out the bottom. Essentially, we can't send it. Like, we delivered it from the plant to the rail yard, but if it's leaking, it's not included on the delivery manifest. We're obviously only able to deliver the secure cars, so that's how they kind of itemize that. The plant shows that we've delivered sand to the rail yard. Currently this is called the CSI inventory yard. We know we delivered it here, but it won't be billed to the recipient because it's not going to be connected on the train that gets shipped to them. So essentially it's 2 numbers. You see, let's say we have 1 million pounds of sand, obviously way more than that, but just for a number. 1 million pounds of sand leaves the plant and goes to the rail yard, but only 900,000 pounds of sand is included on the train that goes down to Pennsylvania for delivery. That's how we know what to bill, is because it's the 900,000 pounds that gets sent out. That's what gets charged to the recipient. So it's basically a screw up on our end. The trains are obviously leased out of the rail yard. It's a whole huge process, but we will go and collect all that sand. It'll eventually be used by a loader. We'll pick it up and we will deliver it back to the dirty sand pile at our plant, because then it could be sorted, sifted, and turned back into the really good sand and loaded, you know, for inventory going out. They'll do a check the rail yards themselves, when these trains are ready to go, they have workers in their own vehicles who will come down and inspect all the trains, make sure none of the chutes are even sprinkling out sand, because it's got to go several hundred miles on its journey on the rail yard. And if it was even sprinkling out, all that's going to do is sprinkle all the sand out as a slow leak, and it would end up being an empty train by the time they got there. So they won't allow that to ship. They will red tag that. And it's kind of a complicated process. If it's like 20 cars in and they notice one in the middle is leaking, what they're going to do is pull the full ones forward to another section. They will find the red tag one, separate that from the train, and end up putting it on a different track. It's got to come back here to our parked part of the rail yard, and it will connect to the damaged trains back here and just slowly leak out, just like that one did. It could take a month at a slow pace to leak out. But it's just part of what you do here. Let's see, did I watch Breaking Bad? Yes, I watched that whole show. I honestly don't remember the train robbing scene. I know I watched that entire series, but I can't recall it off the top of my head. And it looks like that truck is now empty, so he gets the signal to go forward. I shift back into drive, release my parking brake. And I slowly got to pull forward. I have to stop ahead of this because I got to wait for the guy to come out and hand him my sheet. Process to bump over this because you don't want to lose traction on the belt. And I see the signal to stop, so I put the truck in neutral, set my parking brake. Yeah, I figured it'd be something like that, stealing the stuff they needed to make meth. You know, technically anybody could steal from these kind of things. You just need big tools. Just like you got to use a special type of wrench to open a fire hydrant to get water out of it. These trains on the bottom, let me see how to describe it. You have to use a giant crowbar. It kind of goes into a couple slots at the bottom, and you have these little rolling trays. See if I roll down my window and take you off of here. I could probably zoom in to show you. See, just like our trailers, each of these train cars has two chutes on the bottom. So if I zoom in, to the bottom right of that circle, it's basically got circles all the way through it, like holes. So you would stick the crowbar, see if I can use my finger to point it out. Where is my finger? There we are. I'll be way out of focus because I'm zoomed in. But you'll put the crowbar at a diagonal or whatever through those holes, and you can turn that little rotating circle. It's a rod all the way through. And you have gears, so the bottom of this, let's see, where's my finger again? There we go. the bottom of this has a tray that slides out. So it's gravity fed. If I zoom back out here, all the sand in there is kind of like, you know, those are shaped like big V tanks. So the sand will come out just like a funnel once you open that up. And it works the same way that my truck is being offloaded. It's gravity fed onto that conveyor belt. They'll just reverse the process. The trains will use another Wilson on the delivery end, where it'll basically offload. It'll offload from the chutes on the bottom of the train. The conveyor belt will be going the other way to fill up these sand boxes. There you guys can see, at least in the mirror. So I'm offloading right now into the train. Once it gets where it's going, they will offload from the train car into these little cubes that are like shipping containers. And cold it is. If I can get my phone down here. I show 29 degrees outside. It's not bad inside of my cab because I keep the heat up to a nice, what are we looking at there? About 75 degrees. And I have my window down completely, so even though it's snowing and getting a couple of flakes into my truck, you see that's warm enough that they melt right away. But all this out here is mud. Right now it's cold enough that it's kind of rock hard mud. So it's not as bad, not as messy. But since I'm going to be sitting here for a while, I can spin back around so you can see my beautiful face. Again, since I multitask, right now I am watching Hidden Suffolk Detecting on my tablet. So you can watch that. I got it running at 2 times speed because I'm watching about 34, I believe, of his videos all the way through. It's nice when that happens because it gives them 100% completion watch hours. So it improves their how they look on the algorithm for YouTube. Maybe starts suggesting their content. Gives them a little helping hand. And hopefully people like that watch my footage the same way. On my channel, I've divided stuff up. I put all my 2023 metal detecting videos into one giant playlist. It'll be several hours long. So of course, if you're able to, if you got another device, like a tablet like I do, bring that back up here so I think other people join. But if you got another tablet, another smartphone, another TV, smart TV, whatever you can watch YouTube on, you can queue up one of your buddy's playlists and just let it play all the way through. It'll automatically switch to the next video of theirs, so you'll be able to watch all their content, improve their percentages and whatnot. Let's see, do you ever metal detect for train relics? I mean, we lease this section of the rail yard, so we can. I have brought out my detector. But as we are still a modern rail yard, essentially everything you see from the rail cars, which is about 50 feet of smoothed out ground we can drive on, it's littered with rail spikes. So if you're looking for one or two, you could probably find some with your eyes, I'm sure. But if you were looking for them, you'd probably find them every 3 to 4 feet, buried about 6 inches in the ground. So it's one of those things where you bring your detector out to a spot like this, flip the screen again. All of that ground from the train cars to the left to where it starts being overgrown prairie to the right, every 3 feet, I would say, you're going to find a rail spike in the ground. Just iron after iron after iron. I haven't found any old rail locks because, of course, this rail yard for probably the past 20 or 30 years has been these types of train cars where we don't really use like rail locks. They might appear more on to the right of me about 2 blocks. We have the train cars that haul actual automobiles. As I approach this rail yard, you'll actually see it as a bunch of Dodges and Hondas and I believe Toyotas, a big lot where they park all the cars that come from all over the country. They park them all in that giant parking lot and they await to be loaded onto the rail cars that could probably haul about 10 or so automobiles inside of there. So that's to my right, about 2 blocks, that rail yard. I'd imagine they're actually using a lot more locks because, you know, you don't want anybody to be able to get in there and pillage the brand new automobiles. But we're just hauling sand. So honestly, the 2 chutes on the bottom of our rail cars to my left, it's kind of like a zip tie, like a security tag plastic system. If you had, you know, kids' kindergarten scissors or any type of scissors, you could cut those plastics and open it up, but you'd also, how are you going to get the sand out? You know, it's just going to be coming out at a high rate of speed. You can't really put like a 5-gallon bucket underneath it. So there's probably not much of a chance that somebody's going to be stealing our 200,000 pounds of sand. So you're not going to find rail padlocks here. I will flip me back around so you guys can watch me eating one of the brownies that Corey has packed for my lunch. Now, what does it sound like for the people watching? Since I have this mic, is it very clear? Like it sounds like it's picking up my voice from here? Or does it sound more like the sound is coming from my phone and picking up, you know, like the fan and the engine? All of the sand in those rail cars, we load it from our plant. Obviously we take the raw sand, we refine it to the sugar clean sand, then we haul it by truck to those rail cars. Switch back around. We are zoomed out. Oops, zoomed in, zoomed out. All those rail cars to my left, they receive what we're hauling by truck. And it goes from here in Buffalo, New York, down to, I believe it's Wyalusing and Towanda, Pennsylvania. The recipients will offload it from these trains onto these small sandbox cubes, kind of like a shipping container truck. And then those drivers will haul it from the rail yard there about another 8 miles to these frac sites. Where they drill for natural gas down in Pennsylvania. They will bring those sandbox trailers out into the middle of the woods where the actual drilling site is, and a giant forklift that's about the size of a semi-truck they'll unlock the box from the trailer, just like a shipping container. The giant forklift will pick them up, and they stack them 2 deep like Legos. So they'll take your loaded one, set it off to, say, the left side, and then the truck will move to the right pick up an empty box that they've already drained and put that on your trailer. So you take that back to get reloaded. It's kind of a modular system where you bring a loaded cube, they take your loaded cube off and set it on the ground, then they give you an empty cube. You'll take that cube on your trailer back to the rail yard to be loaded from the trains you see here. So it's kind of just a process where they'll unload the train, load your cube, you bring the full cube to the drilling site, they'll take the loaded one off, put an empty one back on your trailer, lock it, and then you repeat that process as many times. So those guys probably deliver, like, if it's running really fast, 3 to 4 sandboxes will go to the end user. When I'm running really fast down here, I deliver about 6 or 7 full truck trailers worth to the rail yard. So everybody's got their own little start and end process. Yeah, I assume it's my phone, because it doesn't, in YouTube, at least with live, I see a microphone setting, but all that does is let you mute your sound. So it doesn't give me the option to send it to my my mic on my headset. I've never gone to any of the professional sports things. Of course, when I moved here about 3 years ago, we were still dealing with COVID and everything was closed and had all kinds of crazy requirements and social distancing. So I never went to any of the football games or ice hockey or any of that. Where I came from in northern Arizona, I lived out there for 18 years. We did not have really any professional sports teams. I was about an hour north of Phoenix. So moving out here towards Buffalo, I was like, oh wow, big city again, you know, big sports teams. Maybe I'll check them out, but once I saw all the social distancing requirements, I avoided it. And thankfully all that phased out, you know, knock on wood for the time being at least. So one of these days I'll actually drag myself out. Corey can bring me to one of these places and I can check out a football game or ice hockey, which I don't care much for the sports themselves, but eating stadium food and having a stadium beer or something, hearing all the people cheering, that sounds like it could be entertaining. Frankly, as a NFL fan, I'm kind of glad that the Bills did not make it this year. Everybody gets all crazy. They call it whatever, the Bills Mafia. I'm sure everybody's aware, you know, the shooting that happened at the parade was at the very next day out in Kansas City, Missouri. I think that same type of situation would happen here, because even though the city is celebrating, you always got some dummies that are going to have their dumb little gangster beef, which is what that was, this young kids shooting at each other. Of course, last time I checked, it was one lady died and several others injured. I believe a couple of them were children, so just idiots doing their idiot things. But if the Bills would have won, I think the same scenario would have probably happened. You got 99.9% of the people out having a fun, enjoyable celebration, happy that their city won. But all it takes is those two people to start shooting at each other, and now somebody lost their life, and other people were, you know, obviously hit by bullets. Go really slow. We do a U-turn around this overpass. But right in the middle of this lane is a big dip that they don't want to fill in. And even though the truck can make it through it, it actually damages part of the suspension on the tractor. Because this is air suspension. And there's essentially a bar that has to be flat. It monitors when your airbags are up or down. It tells you, basically it tells the air when to stop filling up. But when you go through that dip and your suspension bottoms out, it can bend that bar. So now it's no longer set flat, and your tractor doesn't know with that, leveling stop system. It doesn't know that your truck needs the airbags to go back up. So if that bends while you're out here, you essentially have no suspension. You got to take it to the mechanic that's out near our plant, have them re-straighten the bars out and everything so that you're not driving you lose all your springiness essentially. The airbags won't absorb the impact, so you're driving with a bottomed out suspension. And you can't load at that because we load heavy. When I leave this rail yard, I can only do about 7 to 10 miles an hour, both because it's so rutted, washboard type setup in here, so you don't want to go too fast. But I also only have a small kind of thread the needle lane here, because that conveyor system, you'll be able to see the end of it. It sticks out about 2 to 3 feet from the truck that's being offloaded. And that pushes me towards the very edge of this, I guess, smoothed out ground that we're driving on. So I don't want to hit it with my truck, and I don't want to go too far to the left, because if it's not, flattened and packed down, you'll get stuck in all that mud really fast. Passing another one of those Wilson conveyor buggies on my left. I think we have 3 of them here at the rail yard, and they're always in rotation. One breaks, break the wheel system, break the chains that steer them, or pop one of those moon buggy tires. So there's always one that's just down, needing maintenance. Sometimes we have 2 of them running at the same time when we're lucky enough to have both of them running. So we'll have 2 stations essentially. They move several rail cars apart so trucks can fit in between them. And they'll tell us either to offload at station 1 or station 2. Try to stagger the trucks as they're coming in, so it's you're always unloading a truck at the same time in both stations. But for the most part, we only ever have one buggy that is functioning. So we all, I guess, bottleneck out here and wait in line for our turn to offload. Heading back on the pavement, so I disable my locking axles. Try to read that comment that came in at the end here. I'll have to wait till I stop because my phone wiggles so much. Oh yeah, gun ownership in Canada. Me personally, I'm not a gun owner myself. As much as I understand that they can, help protect you, I think because I'm on YouTube and you read all the horror stories, I don't want to have one because I don't want to have an accident. I don't want to be one of those people that, your kid finds your keys to your lock safe or any of that kind of stuff. So I just avoid them. I'm sure at some point in my life, there'll be a time that I wish I had a gun, but I also think at the same time, like, what if just punching somebody solved it, the fight ended? You push it too far with a gun, now you're, in court. Sure, you're not dead, and as that saying goes, some people say I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6, meaning you'd rather be in court fighting for your freedom than having your pallbearers carry your casket at your funeral. I understand the saying, but I think guns kind of escalate things past a point that they need to be. So they're just not for me. I always get a kick out of directly across the road here. You might not be able to see it on the camera angle. There's a red Dodge Ram TRX, one of those Hellcat motor, Baja suspension trucks. It's the only one I've ever seen that actually has one of those old, some of the trucks used to have them, like mid-2000s. They used to put that big wing on the truck. I think they called it like a Super Bee or something. But the guy's got a giant wing on the end of his truck, which essentially disables your truck bed, because how are you going to fit anything in there? You'll catch a glimpse of it. Looks like he's got a little mini U-Haul trailer attached to it right now. But once this light turns green, that it did, you can see this red TRX with a giant black wing on the back of it. At least for a split second there. a lot of the cars in parking lots, rear-wheel drive cars specifically, they just get stuck. So you'll see them spinning and spinning and spinning with their summer tires trying to get out of the parking lot. So I get a bit of entertainment on my route here. Here's a fun turn. At least they're all moving, and I got nobody coming from my left. When I need to pull way out into this intersection, actually cross over the yellow line to my right, do this giant button hook turn just so I clear that curb with my trailer. Spinning in every gear I got. I'm in gear 6 now, still spinning. Waiting for traction to catch up. Gear 7. Gear 8 finally stops spinning. I'm en route to downtown Buffalo, about 8 miles away. Maybe only 6 miles from here. But I'm heading to the sand plant to pick up another load of processed and dried sand. That's what I'm doing today, is hauling sand between our processing plant and our rail yard. 108,000 pounds worth each time. Yellow Buffalo plows. I have currently been live for 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 30 seconds. I get about 5 seconds to make my turn before oncoming traffic gets their green light. So you always got to be staring at that light, ready to go as soon as it changes. Give us a big enough lane to get up to speed. I don't have to worry about merging to my left because no one's behind me. But I'm in 50 miles an hour before I run out of merge. Much easier to move this truck when you're empty because you're 30,000 pounds versus 100. wind. You know, it's like a rocket blast or whatever. It'll shake the entire truck in whichever direction the wind is blowing. So that'll really wake you up if you're kind of zoning out. Starting to wake up, the traffic starts to pick up. So you gotta keep more of an eye out for the drivers that like to cut off semis. Exit 7 is coming up. That will be my entrance to the Skyway. Right along the Erie Lake shore. Right turn, that is the entrance to the Buffalo Skyway. I'm expecting the wind to pick up like crazy, so you don't have any of the buildings to block you or protect you from the wind. It's all coming directly off of Lake Erie. road, which is the driveway to my plant. Leave wide left. There's another driver opening his tarp right now. So I go under the underpass, keep as far to the right curve as I can. Put on the flashers so the guy behind me knows he can pass me. Little minivan to my left. So that's what I do. The guy in front of me is doing. You got that big long crank extension. We used to have power tarps on these, even with like a garage door style remote in the cab. So you never had to get out of your truck. But the drivers would open them all the way to the right, and they would hang off about 6 inches at the top corner of the trailer. And they would back these big trailers underneath the scale house and kind of ding the mechanism. They would run that into the uprights of the scale. So they damaged the power ones we had. They took away the remotes because people were forgetting to open them, and then you back under the chute to receive sand with a closed tarp, and it's going to destroy the tarp. 70,000 pounds of sand will tear one of these fabric tarps up in a heartbeat and bend up all the mechanisms. So then we had to go out and press a button on our trailer. There was still power, but then people wrecked the power mechanism so much, they decided we're going to go to manual crank tarps. Now is my turn. I turn off my hazards because I don't need them here. I will bring my phone, my nice toasty gloves, because I keep them on the window defroster vents. Unplug it from the charger. Bring you guys out. And I can prop my phone up here at the end. Let's see, where can I put it so it won't hit my screen? Then you guys should maybe if I got process, 2 ratchet straps and cranking it over. Got you guys still live. You can see the loader scooping up sand. He'll take that full load. I'll actually show you guys what the plant looks like. I got nobody behind me. There we got a truck coming out. Give him enough room. But that is the plant. See all the steam coming clear off of it. Head back towards my trusty Peterbilt.
showing 26 degrees at the plant. Try to get my glove off so I can put the phone back on the mount. Throw my center diff lock back on my truck. And you have to set yourself up for your backup. So you make a wide left into the plant, but not too wide because you don't want to run into the sand dune. I do it perfectly because that's how I do everything. And now my truck is completely straight, so I can. Oops, we're not in reverse. There we go, reverse. Back, get up. So where I just came from there, pulling forward, was what I consider the third position. I'm heading back to the second position, which will be next on the scale to get loaded. And I know when to stop because I have a white fuel tank off towards my left side here. I wonder if I can pivot this sideways. Give me a second to mess with this mount. See if I can get a better angle at all. Orientation is locked. Rotate device back. I guess it won't let me. I tried. Lock the mount back in. Really spin her around. So you guys can watch me in my day cab semi-truck drink a drink from our sponsors. Snapple tea, naturally flavored with other natural flavors, whatever that means. Somebody earlier mentioning Halliburton. I believe they've left the chat, but let me flip this around. Come on. You can actually see a piece of one of our Halliburton sandboxes. You can tell, see at the top there, it's all the bolts rusted out. There's always, bolts every like about 10 to 12 inches. But those goofy little things, that would be the bottom of the sandbox, how it kind of... Anyways, those eventually fall off the trailer, get too loose, so they just yank them off. Leave them here at the plant. But another funny thing, if you see in my rear view side mirror, see those 45-degree uprights? We built all of this only about 2 years ago at the plant. We upgraded to all that, so it's supposed to be able to load 2 trucks at the same time. But those 45-degree, what would we call those? I don't know, I'm blanking on the word right now, but they're like supports. we built that setup before we got these new tall trailers. So if you see that truck, let's see if I can zoom in, there's not a lot of room. And these scales that he's on aren't very centered in between these. They're kind of off crooked to the side. On the opposite side that you can't see, if you're too far over to the passenger side, you can actually hit those 45-degree angle uprights with the trailer or the tall part of his truck. He's got a natural gas truck. So instead of a sleeper behind him, it's all the containers that hold the pressurized natural gas to power the truck. But it's a tall point, tall as the trailer, and you can run that in to those angled upright supports. So that's fun. Let's see if I can zoom in on the other side. Here you can see how much closer that side is. Zoom, zoom, zoom. You only get a couple of inches away. So plenty of time, bad drivers have crashed into those and dinged up the corners of our trailers and whatnot. But that's also the side where the open tarp would be sitting, like the awning. So you'd crash that in and bend up the awning bars and screw up the whole system. So we have that going for us, which is nice. Adjust the phone in this mount so its cameras are at least away from the mount itself. I will go back to eating another brownie while I wait for my chance to back up and get loaded again. So far I've delivered one preload, one load that I picked up, and I'm in line for my second load. That's what she said. Probably not picking up because they're very small flakes, but I mean, even the sand coming or the snow coming in is blowing sideways. Erie Lake itself is only about a block away to my left. I think for the sake of everyone's sanity, I look like I'm at 2 hours, 28 minutes, 45 seconds. I'll stop this live at 3 hours max, so another 32 minutes or so. We do the little dance as I back up slowly and the other loaded truck pulls out around me. I just have to center my trailer. As I go on to the scale.
much salt on these windows you can't see perfectly. Back up slowly till I hear the siren telling me to stop. There it is. Neutral. Air brake. Window back there. Other driver who hauls the tanker trailer, that is. I see 2 people in the chat, so feel free to ask any questions or leave comments in the chat. That's how I can communicate with you. Currently sitting on the scale getting loaded with 108,000 pounds of sand while it is snowing here in downtown Buffalo. Crazy winds picking up, blowing my truck side to side. So that's all. I am live, even though right now my truck is sitting stationary because I have to get loaded with this sand. Are super intense right off the lake. That is one good side to it not being dry right now, is all the sand dust. This would be a giant sandstorm with the winds this high. But it is snowing. We're supposed to get 5 to 6 inches, I believe, just today. We had I don't know, maybe a 2-inch dusting last night. That other truck in front of me will back up, giving me just enough room when I'm loaded to exit this scale I'm on and kind of snake around. personally, I'd rather drive these super hopper trailers we have because they open up. It's wide open on the top, just like a dump truck would look. And all the sand comes down through a hose that's about 8 to 10 inches wide. So you can just back onto the scale with one of these super hoppers and it'll load you anywhere. With those tanker trailers, see if I can zoom in a little bit out. It's got, we opened 3 of the hoppers, the chambers on the top. There's 3 chambers in the tanker. And we opened 3 of the 6 available lids on the top of that. You got to climb up and open them. But it's something like a 20-inch wide opening, and you have an 18-inch wide chute that the sand is going to be loading from. So you can see how backing an entire semi-truck and only having an inch of clearance in any direction would be a lot less fun than what I'm doing. I've done it plenty of times. It's a pain in the butt. So I take this truck with the super hopper trailer. Zoom back out. And if you can see that billboard sign that says the Mega Millions lottery is 493 million. Powerball is 330 million. Wouldn't that be nice? But instead, I will find $330 million by metal detecting. While I'm sitting here, let me see what this other button does. Oh, that's a filters. I don't need any of that. What is this button? Highlight, save the channel. I don't need that either. Plus is start poll. Shift and drive, pull forward. Come on, shift and drive. I am moving forward about 2 feet. And listen for a siren. Stop again. Gotta repeat that 3 times. We've had 2 sirens so far, so there'll be 1 more. Maybe. Rotate the camera back again while I'm waiting for the scale ticket and to finish getting loaded. It's definitely not a bad gig though, because like I said, I get to multitask. My tablet sitting over here in my passenger seat is still watching a playlist from Hidden Suffolk Detecting. I see my scale guy walking towards the front of the truck, so I roll down my window, shift it to drive, release my air brake. Now I have to make sure I don't run him over, because they tend to not like that. Snake around here, so I will put the camera forward again. There we go. I will do a bit of a dance around this other truck as he backs up. So I will clear him, make this wide left turn out of the gate. So the rear of my trailer doesn't hit the dumpster that was inside the rut. Straighten myself back out. And now I gotta go run outside and close my parts. So I will be right back in a second. I grab my nice toasty gloves off of the defroster vent by my windshield, which is nice because it is 26 degrees out, but my hands are really warm. Be right back. I'm back. Hope you didn't miss me. That was a fun adventure because the winds are rather intense, 40 to 50 mile an hour. And as you can imagine, a giant tarp that you manually close over your trailer becomes a parachute in such winds. So it's a bit of a battle to actually get it to close without taking off and tearing off the trailer. But I got it done. Now a really wide, almost go up onto the curb, right-hand turn. I have the truck floored. I am doing 13 miles per hour going uphill onto this on-ramp. tires in total to handle all this weight. There's one of our fancy yellow plow guys doing his plow work. Nobody approaching from the left, so I make my line right into the middle lane. And there in front of us is one of our other truck drivers who apparently has put on his hazard so he can go in to the gas station, which is silly. But technically, back onto the section of the road that has not been plowed. So my tractor trailer is doing a bit of a dance. You can tell because I am the greatest driver that has ever driven anything. And I am in full control of this vehicle at all times. Except there's a few times where I fall asleep when I'm driving, but we won't talk about that. But I'm being a nice guy, and I am plowing some lines into the road with my tires. Let the engine slow down all the way. Apply a tiny bit of foot brake, and we come to a complete stop. Just in time for the light to turn green and restart the process with all this weight. So big, wide left turn into a curb lane. 10 miles an hour. Like a train myself, because with the truck Ford, it takes me about 3 blocks to get up to the speed limit of 35 miles per hour, just in time for the light ahead of me to turn yellow, forcing me to come to a complete stop at the red, which is my favorite. As you see, there is a hill for the overpass that goes over all the railroad tracks. Meaning I get to start from 0 miles per hour at the bottom of the hill. We will see in a second, when that light turns green, how long it takes me with the truck floored from a dead stop to go uphill, how much speed I can get. Go ahead and guess in the chat. What speed do you think I will hit in a tractor trailer of 108,000 pounds of total weight, going uphill from a dead stop? Will Cody hit 10 miles an hour, 20, 30? Take your guesses, put them in the chat now. The closest winner, without going over, will receive 1 pound of sand.
This never happens. This is a miracle. He is backing up, allowing me to go instead of him. Thank you so much. You will get 1, 2, 3 blinks of my this generation. I am entering the rail yard. I am turning left at a very slow pace because this is off-road. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am bringing a overweight semi-truck for you, for your entertainment, into an off-road area. This truck is designed for highway, flat, paved travel, yet here I am, forcing it to go off-road, doing what it's not built for, achieving the impossible. I do it for you, the watchers, all 2 of you, my supporters. I am risking right now. They are out there, just themselves, in their winter gear, walking, totally unprotected, unknowing that I am driving 108,000 pounds of gigantic fiberglass and iron and stainless steel and whatever else they'll build trucks out of, directly towards them at a high rate of speed, known as 7 miles per hour. Will Cody have enough time to slow this gigantic contraption down to save speed in time to save the lives of the rail workers and their vehicles that they like to park precariously close to the semis and the machinery? You couldn't pay me enough to bring my personal vehicle out here. Sunday, 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 be there as Cody brings this monster truck off-road. Will he crash into the people? Will he crash into their personal vehicles? They are being covered in sand and all the salt that we bring off of our tires. Look at this expert precision as he brings the vehicle up to about 15 feet behind the one and completes the stop perfectly, placing the transmission into neutral, putting on the air brakes of the tractor because he's so lazy and doesn't want to pull the red button because that hurts his fingers. And now the truck is brought to a complete stop. Everyone is safe. Everyone is saved because Cody has saved the day. I can bring up the brightness so I can actually see because daylight is out. We have 2 viewers and we have 4 likes, meaning I am the most viewed, most exciting, most liked YouTuber out there. I don't just metal detect, I drive semi-trucks. That's because I am super versatile. I am better than the best out there. Mr. Beast, he does nothing. But Cody, he drives semi-trucks and metal detects. This is amazing. Maybe I should run for president. Actually, I forget that I have my own tablet running. Let me like that video and I will stop that guy's stream to see if I can watch my own live stream on my tablet. Right now it's showing 2 people. So if I click live and go to it, does it show 3 people watching? It might not show me because I am me already and it knows I am watching from my phone. But here I am and I can chat. Oh, I see holy moly detecting. Why is my chat not? That's so weird. It doesn't show holy moly detecting 3 messages on my phone. And I can't scroll up. That is crazy. But I can type read into the chat through my tablet. Which also doesn't show. So I wonder, does my chat have all messages are visible? Now I see holy moly detecting. And I see one message. Welcome to the chat, holy moly detecting. Of course, as you see, I am at work at my day job, meaning that I cannot do metal detecting. I mean, technically I could, but it is snowing. The ground is frozen. And the only place I would have a chance to detect is here at the rail yard. While that would be exciting for you guys, I know all I would be digging would be, what do they call them, railroad spikes. Terrible, terrible railroad spikes. There's so many of them. So now we have 3 people watching. one of which might be me, because I will flip the camera around so you can see me. Here I am. I am exciting. I also have my tablet playing the same thing. This is like some form of tabletception, as there's multiple me's. You think I'd get more hours, since look at how many of my streams are there. It goes in and in and in and in and in. It's crazy. Does Mr. Beast do that? No, because he's not as awesome as I am. For that comment, I will give myself a little party symbol, and a heart symbol, and a laugh, and a shocked face, and 100%, all because they're there. Now, because you didn't come here just to see my amazing, beautiful face, I will flip the camera back around, if it lets me. Am I zoomed out all the way? Yes, I am. That guy with the orange vest, he is controlling the machine out there called a Wisp, which is a conveyor belt buggy. It is four-wheel drive, four-wheel steer. It has a giant conveyor belt, much like the one that you buy your groceries at the checkout aisle, lane, whatever you call it, of the store. When you go to the cashier to buy them, you set your groceries on the belt. It is the same thing, perhaps more industrial, but the same. The belt goes under our trucks as we drive over it, because there's little ramps. The sand comes out the bottom of our trailers, goes up the conveyor belt, up that angle, brought to the top of the rail cars, where it is deposited in the little lids on top of the rail cars. Each one of these rail cars to my left can hold, and oh my God, it's getting hot in here. I don't have the window cracked at all. I can die. I can die on a video. Although I might get more viewers then. I would not be here to see it. So I will live. I will crack my window. I will turn down my heat to perhaps 70 degrees instead of 150,000 degrees. But we're delivering frac sand from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, which comes to Buffalo on a giant ship, much like the ships that you see that bring like oil tankers and haul grain. We get sand from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, raw sand, delivered to our plant. The ship will deposit it in a very similar way that we're offloading it into the rail cars. It has its own crane mechanism with a belt on it that will build giant dunes of raw sand. Then we will take the raw sand with a loader. It will move it into a hopper at the plant, which then conveys the sand all the way through multiple levels. It filters it out, gets the rocks and debris out, so you just end up with nice clean sand, sorts out the right size particles, so they're all the same, because you like to be uniform, you like to be consistent. It will then bake all of that cleaned sand up to, I think, 735 degrees, so you don't want to touch it. It bakes it, it dries it, it filters it, it fills up silos, and then they bring it up elevators to load over the top of our trucks as we pull onto a scale to the grand total full weight of 108,000 pounds. Just to make things more interesting, our trucks are only registered for 80,000 pounds. So even though we have these permits that allow us to go on a route for 108,000 pounds, our trucks are not registered for that weight, and they're not capable of handling it, which leads to these trucks breaking and falling apart all the time. So naturally, the mechanics think it's the drivers causing the problems. But if you notice that X on the trailer in front of me, the cross braces, that was added to these trailers that we bought directly from the manufacturer who built them custom for us. All of that stainless steel colored aluminum, whatever you want to call that, on the top of the trailer, that is a raised custom design to hold more sand at the top. They've also made their 2-axle trailers be 3 axles, so they're longer, bigger, supposedly stronger. However, within the first couple of months, One of these trailers decided to implode on itself and collapse when fully loaded with sand. Just after it left the roadway going onto the off-ramp, thankfully there and not in the middle of 190 South, it broke in half, dumping its load everywhere, and the whole thing was basically just caved in. The company came out and decided this was the fix, was to reinforce the front and the back with all these extra supports, and so far so good. They are handling it, but again, ladies and gentlemen, our trucks are rated for 80,000 pounds of combined weight. That means the tractor and the trailer and everything you put inside of it should not exceed 80,000 pounds. But here we are, being bad kids, hauling 108,000 pounds on a 80,000 pound registered vehicle. Why do we do that? Because we are ridiculous. Because we don't like the rules. Because we like to exceed things and break things and just be bad in general, I guess. If I owned a company and I bought 6 brand new trucks and brand new trailers, I would not be doing this to them. Because that breaks them. This kills the trucks, as all the kids would say. We still have 3 people and 4 likes in the chat. Feel free to type any questions, any comments, any concerns for my well-being, for the truck's well-being, for the sand's well-being, for anyone's well-being. We can talk about it because that's what we're here for on a live stream. Everybody, to chat, to talk, to be friends, to be cool. As of right now, I will be taking a Gatorade out of my cooler. Blue Gatorade, our other sponsor, Gatorade, the thirst quencher, available in cool blue color. Total fat of 0 grams and 270 grams, milligrams actual sodium. Actual grams would probably kill you, and they wouldn't call this Gatorade, they would call it the drink of death. But I would still drink it, as that is delicious. If he's still in here, holy moly detecting. Says 26 degrees, yike, 60 here in Torrance, California. Why would you tease me like that? I would like 60 degrees in Torrance, California. And isn't Torrance, California, where they filmed E.T., the extraterrestrial? To drive over this scale, which I have accomplished, but now I have to drive at 1 mile an hour until I inch forward enough to tell me to stop with a hand signal. I pull my e-brake, I put in neutral. I'm going the distance, I'm going for speed, all alone in my time to lead. We have gone down to 2 viewers. We've lost 1/3 of the viewers. We need you to call in now. Donate any amount of nothing other than your time. As you can hear in my voice, I have gone crazy. I've been away from work for 4 days, and now here I am sitting in a semi-truck that I have too hot with multiple layers. I have on long underwear. I have on Carhartt sweatshirts, I have on overalls, and I have on a quilt-lined safety jacket. This is too many layers to have it be 70 degrees, which is more than 70 degrees on my climate control. It's probably like 85 degrees in here, and I have on 4 winter layers. Adding 2 degrees to skin. It is the perfect combination of boredom, of hatred for having to go to work on a day where I would much rather metal detect, but I can't because it is snowing and icy and the ground is frozen, making it really hard to dig. I have to wait, not only for this ground to unfreeze, but to thaw and melt the snow, and then the melted snow has to seep deep into the ground where the water tables keep it near the top. I want it to go at least a foot in the ground before I even touch water, so I'm able to dig dry ground. Dry ground, ladies and gentlemen. Brought to you by such things like global warming. Here comes the other truck after he has made his rotation around the pillars of the overpass up there. He has to try to thread the needle and fit between me and the edge of the road. Can he do it, ladies and gentlemen? He's getting very close to me. He might hit my mirror. Oh, just missed it. I was hoping he would hit it and he would get it right up. Currently going on 18 months with the red service immediately light flashing on the automatic transmission of this Peterbilt. I believe this is like a 537 or some type of 3-number model of this truck. I don't know because I am not that familiar with Peterbilts. But that is the environment we like to keep in place here. Everything duct tape and zip tied together. Moments, mere seconds away from total failure. Because it makes it exciting. Exciting for us. Exciting for you. You, the audience, the people who want the entertainment. Will he make it through the ship? Will he make it through one single loaded delivery? Who knows? Stay tuned to find out. And there we go with Magnetic Movements entering the chat. Hello and welcome, Magnetic Movements, to this fun and exciting video where I am not metal detecting because I'm stuck at work today in Buffalo. It is now 32 degrees, which is probably more than 25 degrees. It is freezing. It is snowing. It is icy, snowing, and terrible. All the things you don't like when you're stuck at work and can't metal detect and have to deliver sand. But I figured I'd at least go on my live stream. So not only do I build up my live watch hours, I have a way to entertain myself and you guys. You guys have all of that in the UK? Well, I would imagine so. I have never been to the UK myself, but I hear it rains there often, so I would assume most of the UK and Buffalo, New York are probably identical. As of right now, it is about 25 degrees out and snowing. How is the weather there for you? Degrees Celsius. I don't know how math works right now, but I assume that would probably be something like 37 degrees Fahrenheit. Close would be a good guess.
temperatures are much lower for Celsius compared to our Fahrenheit. You guys with your glorious metric system that makes sense, and us in America with the nonsense numbers we use. I suppose. I chalk it all up to something around the time with the Boston Tea Party when we were like, that's enough England, and threw all the tea in the river and tried to do our own thing, be super cool with our own rules. That's where all of our numbers came from. At least that's my guess. But as of right now, I am sitting in my truck getting my trailer unloaded into a rail car. It's winter, so you can't really play in the sand, which makes it that much worse, but I'm delivering beautiful, heated sand. Perfect beach sand. But we deliver it to these rail cars because it's got to go down to Pennsylvania, where they load it into other trucks out of trains and deliver it to natural gas well drilling sites, also known as fracking. But my part of the job is just to haul from our loading plant to this rail yard, which is a difference of about 8 miles, which in kilometers, what's that, 2.2 kilometers per mile, 8, 16 to, I don't know, 17 kilometers, if that would make sense. America great again, Metal Artifacts says. Well, for me, unless the president is going to help me deliver sand while I'm at work, or help me dig holes when I'm metal detecting, I do not care who the president is. On my shift from 6 a.m. until 6 p.m., 12-hour shifts. I can probably deliver, if we stay at this rate, 5 or 6 loads today. So far, we are several hours into my shift. Looks like 10:23 if that time is right. 4.5 hours. I have not crashed yet. If we hit 10 viewers, I will sideswipe it. We are almost done unloading, as I can see the guy in my side mirror. Once they're finished unloading my trailer, he will lower the conveyor belt system. We call it a Wilson buggy. Then I gotta wait for his hand signals. He'll either tell me to inch forward because I gotta move the buggy up, or if I get a thumbs up, that means we're done and I am empty and I can proceed forward and head back to the plant. Viewers, meaning my live stream
lost it all. Well, that's how it works when you gamble in the game of life, ladies and gentlemen. I see the Wilson slowing down. I see him moving the hydraulics. Is he going to give me the signal that says we are done? Or is he going to inch it forward, meaning I have to unload at a different section? It is going up, which means he is going to scoot it further under my trailer towards me. I will have to shift my truck into drive, turn off my air brakes, and wait for the signal to move forward. He had me move forward a couple of feet and then gave me the signal to stop, which doesn't make sense unless he just needed another couple inches to move forward. But I am waiting, staring at my side mirror for the exciting time of when he will tell me to pull forward a couple more inches to line me up, and here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the signal. We are pulling forward at 1 mile an hour, and there's the hand signal that tells us to stop. Oh my God! We will go all the way and put our parking brake back on so he can go back to unloading my trailer. Now I will check my tablet. According to this, everything is matching up. Our live stream is showing that there are indeed only 2 people, one of which might be me because I am also watching my live stream on my tablet. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Cody has a phone, smartphone, mounted to his windshield. He has a tablet sitting on the passenger seat of his semi. He is doing so many things at once because he likes to live dangerously. We have gone up to 5 likes. 5 likes, that means we are 20% more liked than we were like 5 minutes ago. I consider that to be a very good improvement. When's the last time you did 20% better? I don't think that ever happened. Look at this, it's all 3s right there at that second, but no longer. It was 3 hours, 33 minutes, and 33 seconds of live streaming, bringing you the greatest entertainment since forever. Soon, Mr. Beast will copy this format. He will try to release it as his own, but you guys, you will be the sole witnesses to know that this was first brought to you, dropped to the public by me, Cody, and not Mr. Beast. So therefore, when you watch his live streams and he repeats this word for word, frame by frame, this entire format, he stole it from me. For those of you actually still tuned in, there are 1, 2, at least 2, possibly 3 semi-trucks parked behind me. I am finishing up my unload of the second load from me today. That's what she said. But we are about to pull forward as soon as we get the signal that they have completed unloading my truck. If you have questions about why I am live streaming, why I am delivering sand, anything about truck driving, metal detecting, any topic in the world besides women's periods, I can answer your questions. I notice now that the poll itself has 13 votes. 69% voting no, I will not crash my truck. 31% voting yes, I will. So that's pretty much 2/3 of you think I will not crash, and 1/3 of you thinks I will. I don't know whether to be happy or sad about those numbers. Frankly, if I wanted to crash, I could. Damn it, I could crash this truck if I wanted to. So either you think I'm a great driver who doesn't crash, or you think I'm a terrible driver who couldn't possibly pull off a crash. Either way, I have seniority here, and if I wanted to crash a truck, I could, because it's expected, and we have not had any accidents at all this year, and we are due one. I could crash this truck and not be terminated, because I have sweet, beautiful, glorious seniority. As I look out my window, it looks like sand is still coming out from my trailer, so they are moving slowly. 14 votes. That means we got another one on the poll. How has the numbers changed? Now we have 36% yes, 64% no, 36% of you think I will crash this truck. I am impressed by those numbers because that shows me that is what you guys want. You want me to crash this semi-truck, and I just might, because it is a boring day. Sand is still coming out back there, surely taking its time as they are unloaded slowly, much slower than they are used to. I can definitely see 2 semi-trucks behind me, perhaps 3, but I can't see that far. Now there is a guy who has just closed my chute and given me the thumbs up, meaning once my truck actually goes to drive, I can go forward. And we're off doing 5 miles an hour coming along the right side of the turn. This is a very terrible traction road. But Cody does have his differential lockers on. No, he doesn't. He better put them on, because once he goes around this turn, he could lose traction and be stuck. This turn at a maximum speed of 9 miles an hour. He is going to attempt the impossible, steering slightly right at a death-defying speed of 10 miles an hour. He will propel this truck dangerously fast into this turn. Not only is he going to have to enter the turn at the proper speed and proper velocity, everything has to be perfect. The angle, the entrance, the braking at the right apex point of the turn to not lose momentum but have enough speed to be able to go around this curve. Here we go. We are still maintaining exactly 10 miles an hour. We approach. We begin to go left. It is still going left all the way around, banking high above that dip so he doesn't get the tractor wheel stuck. We're so very close to the train. Don't hit the train because the train is supposed to hit you. We have done it. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have done it again. We have completed an entire left turn, bringing us facing the opposite direction. This is so exciting. You love it. I love it. Everybody loves it. Now, as we approach the Wilson right here of the dirt. I will pause, hit the brake, and then go off my live stream. So thanks for tuning in. See you next time.